This diminished dominant line by Michael Brecker on Cape Verdean blues is epic. Let's look into how we can use the diminished scale as a dominant. One of the many magical, amazing things the diminished scale is great for is resolving both to minor and major. And because there often is a lot of confusion around the diminished scale, I want to make a small walkthrough. And here we're talking about the diminished dominant scale. Some people call the diminished scale the half whole step scale because it consists of half steps and whole steps. Some call the scale flat 9/13 scale because it has a natural 13 and a flat 9. I like to call this scale the diminished dominant scale because we're playing it on dominance and it's a diminished scale. And what Michael Brecker just proved is we have some great sounds in this scale. And you just heard me playing a lick resolving into major. But equally great is when you resolve into minor. So D7 using the diminished scale, moving into G minor. And already now, try playing both licks and see how it works to your ears. Does it sound major? Does it sound minor? And a small disclaimer, of course you can resolve anything to everything in music if you want to. It's really just a matter of taste, what you like, how you want to sound. If we dig a little bit deeper into the diminished dominant scale on D7 and compare it to the G major 7, you see this. The common tones between the two scales are the D, the F sharp, the A, the B and the C, so 5 common tones. Meaning that you have the E flat, the F and the G sharp as alterations, the flat 9, the flat 10 and the sharp 11. Some call it the sharp 9. Let's do the same comparison to the G minor scale. D7 diminished scale resolving into G minor. Here you see that the D, the E flat, the F, the A and the C are represented in both scales. Meaning these are the inside notes. And you see that F sharp, the G sharp and the B are the outside notes, so these are the alterations. And this I really like with the diminished scale. It's not leaning towards minor or major in any way. There are equally inside and altered notes in the scale towards minor or major. So let's see what triggers minor or major, if anything triggers minor and major, and make some lines going into both. In this lick you hear that I'm using the major part of the diminished scale going into that minor chord, and that's why the minor comes as such a big surprise. I do the same in this lick, and again the minor comes as a quite big surprise. Again you hear that the major part of the diminished scale challenges your ear into hearing major, but I'm resolving to minor, and I like this so much. In this lick I want to resolve to major, so I'm starting out in minor and moving towards that major chord. Maybe you already know this, maybe you don't, but the diminished scale is a symmetrical scale. This means it has a lot of the same stuff going on from different steps. So every third, for example, there is a dominant. You have the D7 dominant, the F7, the A flat 7 and the B7 dominant. And when you have 4 of a kind or 3 of a kind, but here 4 of a kind in one scale means you can play these symmetrical sounds playing the same patterns through the chords. And our brains love symmetrical stuff. So you can play any of the dominants completely straight like before. Or you could do some add-ons like adding the sharp 11 to them, like this. You get the D7 sharp 11, the B7 sharp 11, the A flat 7 sharp 11, the F7 sharp 11. But when you're playing this sound, it sounds much like the lick. It really sounds like a copy-paste lick, like the old Nokia ringtone. And you definitely hear this is the diminished lick you're playing now. I like to get more away from this very symmetrical sound and lick sound and get more into some not so obvious sounds. I'm still using the general setup of these dominants, the D7, the F7, the A flat 7 and the B7. But I'm rearranging how I play the dominants. I use some bebop phrases, I use some enclosures into the mix. And I change the rhythm of the chords, so I'm really applying new rhythms into the chords that they are not the same all the way. And really the rhythm elevates everything, so try using lots of rhythm when you're doing this. And often when you play these copy-paste lick like the Nokia ringtone, you get this uniform sound. Try using different arpeggios, play them up or play them down or play them as pivots. And in this lick you see that I'm ending pretty open-ended. The only thing that makes that G a G minor chord is that B flat. What if you change that to a B, just ending on the B and G major? Or play both and make every lick you can play in this diminished scale going either to major or minor. To get this under your fingers, I would train any exercise I can find in the diminished scale. Because all the different sounds in the diminished scales are rather tough to get under your fingers and really use if you don't want to sound like the Nokia telephone, and really learn the sound of the scale and the patterns in the scale. And of course then start building your own licks immediately. To get the full potential of using the dominant diminished scale in your playing, I would really advise you to download the lesson manual PDF on Patreon. I've put tons of diminished scale exercises in there so you can learn the sound of the diminished scale and really get it into your fingers. And for each exercise I have of course added a lot of licks that you can learn the sound and really get the resolve into major and minor into your ears and your fingers. If you want to download the lesson manual, the link to Patreon is right here. And of course I want you to check out this awesome video of me explaining a lot of the Michael Brecker diminished stuff. How he plays such amazing, incredible sounds in the diminished scale. Play music, have fun.